How to get your kids to listen without yelling. Who likes yelling? Nobody. It doesn't do good things to us. The kids certainly don't like it. So why do it? I get it. I get it. Look, before you say, oh, easy for her to say, she must have really great kids or a really fantastic life. I do have a really fantastic life and a beautiful family. There are 5 kids in our family. 3 of them are my stepkids. I came in during the teenage years, super fun, a 16-year-old girl, and one teenage boy and one preteen boy when this whole crew came together. And at that time, my biological daughter was just 2 years old. So we had this spectrum. And now we have added a foster child with severe needs, special needs child to our mix. And so, we've got everything now from mid-20s down to the single digits. So trust me when I say I understand sometimes wanting to be like, just do what I say. But it doesn't make anything better. So today, what I'm going to give to you are 4 simple tools to help you not yell and instead communicate in a way that will have your children listening to what you say and will reduce your stress big time. And this also works with difficult adults in your life. So if there are children or children at heart in your universe, then you're going to want to stick around because these 4 tools are masterful.
GILD Coaching. More success, less stress.
Getting your kids to listen without yelling is actually pretty easy. And I say that as the now grown child of a screaming mama. She yelled about everything, even though she always said to the rest of us, and I'm the youngest of 4 children, she said to the rest of us, don't yell from room to room. How many times do I have to tell you? She would yell, how many times do I have to tell you not to yell in the house? So I understand coming from that sort of an environment and having those patterns. They are patterns. It doesn't mean that you have to continue to live them out. You can overcome things from your nurture period, your environment, growing up. You can overcome those things and change them so that you're not repeating them and handing them down generationally. Please do. We have too much yelling and shouting in this world, so we definitely don't need it inside your house. So today I've promised you 4 tools that can help you communicate with your children, get them to listen without yelling. The first one is the toughest one. I'll tell you, number 1 and number 4, those are the ones you really want. 2 and 3 aren't bad. But number 1 is figure out why you're yelling in the first place. Journal. Know your triggers, get down to the heart of it. I had a client years ago come to me and we had a session scheduled and I was face to face with her. So we were at the same table and she came in and we did not end up working on what I thought we were going to work on that day because she was really, really beating herself up. She was beating herself up because the day before she had really yelled at her children. Now this is a beautiful sweet soul. She has 3 children who were pretty young, all elementary school and preschool age, and 2 boys and a girl. So her boy, I believe, was 8 or 9 years old at the time. Her girl was around 6, and then the youngest boy was 4 or 5. And she had issues with time management. I was helping her, kind of get her schedule together, really figure out what she was doing so she didn't feel like she was always running behind all the time. And the day before, everything, the stars had just aligned. She had a really wonderful mom growing up who just always seemed to have everything perfect, kind of that June Cleaver sort of a personality. And she always had that warm dinner on the table timed perfectly when her husband came in from work and things like that. And that is the standard that this client of mine was holding herself to. And she came in and she just said, I'm just the worst mom ever. Can you please tell me why I just suck at being a mom? And I'm thinking, I've been able to observe this person. Our children were at the same school for a while. And so I was able to see her outside of sessions. And a bad mom is not what I had experienced through seeing her. In any way. And so, I got her to tell me what happened, and the stars had just aligned the day before. She got everything done, all of her work, all of her chores, all of her errands, and she even had time to go to the store and plan a 100% home-cooked meal. She was always beating herself up for not having home-cooked meals for family, and that was very important for her. And so she got things that the kids loved. They love meatloaf, they love broccoli, they love fresh salad, and apparently these kids are great and love vegetables. And then she also got them a really, really special store-bought, but really, really special fruit tart for dessert. So she was really happy with herself, and she even got home and got dinner started before she went to pick up her kids from school. Everything was just, falling into place. So she was so excited. And those days when you just feel really good that you've accomplished a whole lot and it just kind of does something to you energetically and you're in a good spot. Well, that's where she found herself to be. So she picks up the kids and she gets home from school, and one of the children says, "What's that smell?" She was so excited. She hadn't told them about dinner because she was waiting for them, because she knew that the smell was going to be in the home when they got there. And so she had just even set these little surprises for them along the way. And she was so excited, and she said, "Well, I finally did what I said that I've been wanting to do for you guys, and I made this dinner, and I got all your favorite things, broccoli with cheese sauce, and this and this and this and this." And the little girl said, "Ew, I don't want that. I just want a sandwich." And then one of the boys was like, "Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe I'll just have cereal." Well, she flipped out and she just started screaming at them. Well, we went into a methodology that my partners and I have created called the Freedom Design Matrix, and we traced those reactions back to the root event, and we figured out, why was she yelling? She was yelling because when her daughter did that, dashed all of her hopes and really shifted all the energy from positive to what the hell just happened to me, it took her mentally back to a place in her preteen years when she and her mother had an argument. And so we worked through to reprogram that reaction, that subconscious programming. And we've reprogrammed that reaction, and it broke that cycle. And this was several years ago, and that cycle's still broken because we permanently broke that cycle. So you've got to figure out, why are you yelling in the first place? It may not be what you think it is on the surface. On the surface, she said, "Well, she hurt my feelings and I put all this work in and they don't appreciate me." Sure, on the surface, that's some of it. But what's underneath the surface? What's in your subconscious that's pulling you toward that screaming? That's what you've got to figure out. Number 2, and I want you to type this into the comments, write it down in your notes, however you're taking notes today. You have to have clear rules. If you don't have clear rules, kids, everybody, we all want boundaries. Boundaries keep us safe. They make us feel good. They tell us where we end, where another person begins. It helps set our expectations for us. So you have to have clear house rules. We don't talk to each other like that. We do talk to each other like this. This is what we do during this time and this time. Here are your expectations. If you don't set standards for people, then they have no standards by which to live. It's very unhealthy and it's very uncomfortable. Part 2 of that is your tool number 3. You have to follow through. Sorry, but you can't set consequences and then just not follow through with them. If you tell your son that if he uses his slingshot inside again, you're going to break it, or you're going to make him break it and put it in the trash can, then you have to follow through with that. Recently, my children and I were swimming at a club pool that we like to go to, and there was a little girl with a squirt gun, and she kept coming up and squirting her mother with this group of women who weren't getting wet in the pool. They had their bathing suits on, but they were sitting beside the pool, and the mom said, "Stop it. If you do that again," this was the first time, "if you do that again, I'm taking it away from you." Well, the little girl is very mischievous, and she kept going over and filling the squirt gun and coming over and squirting her mom. And her mother, instead of taking it away the second time, said, "Stop it!" Just started saying, "Stop it!" and yelling, "Quit doing that!" just over and over and over again. This went on for a while. I want to say this was more than an hour. And finally, the next older sister took it away from her little sister because she was tired of getting squirted. The mom didn't do it well. The little sister complained to the mom. The mom then fussed at her other daughter, made her give it back. Then the kids started going over and squirting her dad. Finally, the dad took it away. I just wanted to cheer for him and go pat him on the back. And the little girl screamed and pitched a fit, and everybody ignored her, and her fit faded, and then it was done. But what that mom is doing is she's training the kid that her consequences don't matter. She doesn't mean what she says. She doesn't tell the truth. She's training that child to disobey. So this kid's probably, I'm going to guesstimate, 4 to 5 years old. Oh gosh, can you imagine if she's getting trained to disobey now? What kind of a preteen is she going to be? What kind of a teenager is she going to be? How hard is it going to be to control that kid? And the mom was yelling. And then the kids were yelling at each other. It's just not healthy. So have clear rules. That's number 2. Number 3, you gotta follow through. Number 4, this one is gold. I don't yell in my house because it doesn't do good things to me, and I don't want to pass down that legacy of yelling that I was handed by my mom, who I'm pretty sure was handed it by her mom. One word is all it takes. It helps you reduce your stress if you don't prattle on with long sentences. So for example, if your son always comes into the house and just starts to strip like our teenage sons used to, not all the way down, but like shoes, belts, hats, and we'd always know where they were because like following the breadcrumbs, we'd just find the boys. So instead of yelling, Ben, why did you leave your shoes in the middle of la 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 la? No, that increases my stress. I don't want my stress to be increased. I want to be chill. I want to be happy. I'd just say one word. Shoes, belt, hat, time to brush teeth. Teeth. They don't need any more than that. They're not dumb. Hair, bed, whatever, pajamas, whatever you need to say to them, one word. And it doesn't have to be delivered strongly. Now, if you've said one word 3 times, okay. But that goes back to the consequences. If you do this, then this, and then you have to live with that. So try the one word thing. Try it with difficult people in your life. Try it with children in your life and see how well it works and see how your stress does not spike when you use that. Give me a thumbs up if any of these have been of help to you. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you'll know the next time that we drop a video to help you live a life with lower stress and more success.